All right, so moving along from that now we're gonna get to a movie that I was excited as hell to see, just off of a trailer alone, and this is Blade of the Immortal.
Yeah.
Now, the two things that caught me with this trailer, well, sorry, caught me with this movie first of all, was first of all the trailer, which if you haven't seen it, I talk about the Red Band trailer. It's probably one of the most incredibly badass trailers I have seen all year to any movie.
Right.
It is so badass. The song that they use is like a kind of EDM slash hip hop song that they use for a trailer for a Jedi Geiki movie was just genius. That was a stroke of genius to me. Just the way how that trailer was put together was just impressive. If you haven't seen it, you could pause this and actually go see it on YouTube, and then you could come back and tell me that trailer wasn't badass. But anyway, the second thing that caught me off guard with this was the director, Takashi Miike.
Yeah.
Now I would
Yeah.
say
This
that
dude, this dude have a ton of. He's do so much work. You know, like a
yeah,
ton of
this
movies here.
and on the subject of this is his 100th movie.
Yeah. He's do a ton
The
of movies.
fuck? Who
Yeah.
does 100 movies in their career in this age? I'm not talking about like the silent film age or whatever the hell. I'm talking about like no, who directs 100 movies
Yeah.
at age 57? There was a point in time where he actually put out like 2-3 movies, I think, a year. I think it
Yeah.
was around the same time. Well, I'll just get into how I got introduced to him. 2001, where he put out probably one of his most infamous films, and I'll say this right now. I don't care if you like it or not. I would straight up say one of the best movies of the 2000s, Itchy the Killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually
Definitely.
have this movie on DVD, the official DVD for this. Bought it when I was up in the States actually. During New
Yeah.
York Comic Con actually, believe it or not. There was a guy who was selling like these real obscure Asian movies. I was like, hey, you have Itchy Killer. It was either this or Old Boy, right? So and I love Old
Right.
Boy by the way. But I bought Itchy the Killer, and yeah, that show, the best term to use for this is Fubar, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
fucked up beyond all recognition, but in a great
Yeah.
in a great way. Um, I loved how unpredictable it was. It is definitely not a film for the faint-hearted though, and definitely not for people with queasy stomachs though. But yeah, there was something so incredibly weird and bizarre. I love my weird, bizarre movies as well, but there was something about this that was just so special though. The best way I could sum up that movie is like one of those movies that if you were to go up to like your average filmmaker and tell them, hey, I want you to make this into a movie because it's based off a manga. They'll tell you, fuck no, I'm not adapting that shit. You crazy? And Takashi just literally had the balls to make this into a movie. Yeah? It's one of those shows that has one of those stories that is so incredibly unfilmable, but like when you really get into what Itch the Killer, the source material is about, it's like, nah man, I can't make that into a movie. I can't show people this. And somehow Takashi did, and it was entertaining. It was insane as fuck, but it still remains one of my favorite movies of the 2000s. And from there, I looked up a few more of his movies. I saw Dead or Alive, well, the first in the trilogy, I should say. I saw Gozu. I actually saw it on cable as well. I would say that has probably one of the most jaw dropping, most FUBA moments I've ever seen in a movie. That's all I'll say. It's just one of those moments where you like questioning your sanity. And then
Yeah.
there's like other films that I haven't seen from it that are just kind of free to see, like Case in Point, Visitor Q, and Audition. Those two movies in particular, I don't want to see because I just hear a lot of bad things about it, especially Audition, which has an incredibly fucked up third act. I know that for sure. I just kind of freaked out. I don't want to see it yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I just had to watch more of his movies to really, stomach it, basically,
Yeah.
But yeah, Takashi as a director was no stranger to controversy, and well, auditioned to an extent, but really, Itchy the Killer was one of those movies that really put him on that spotlight now in terms of controversy.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most controversial movies ever made. Although I highly recommend it though.
Right.
But the one film that I did see from him, well, okay. Apart from all that, there was also his remake of one of my favorite Jidaigeki movies of all time, Harakiri. The
Yeah.
original movie is excellent, perfect in my opinion. Probably one of the best movies, like top 10 samurai flicks I've ever seen in my entire life. But the
Right.
remake was kind of it's kind of day, but I didn't really care for it. But quite recently though, well actually, I shouldn't say quite recently, but back in 2011, and the history behind this kind of funny. Um, the movie that I saw from him that kind of made me a believer in Takashi was a little film called 13 Assassins.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, that was the movie that I did my first ever blog review on my Legally Black blog back in 2011. And it did make it to my top 10 list. I was blown away by this movie. This was probably one of the best modern samurai movies I've seen because it did have the element of Jedi Geiki, that old school samurai vibe with some blood and a lot of violence in it. But because of how kinetic the action scenes were, especially in the third act, which was just phenomenal to watch, I was just in love with this movie. I just was enamored by this. Um, I know I have caught up on a few other samurai flicks, modern samurai flicks over the years. Quite recently, Rurouni Kenshin trilogy, which I know you're not a fan of, but
Right.
I actually really enjoy, especially the second and the third films, which involve my boy Shishio in it. I actually love those movies though. The first one was kind of
Right.
but the second and third, love those, right? But anyway, all that aside, though, I haven't seen a majority of his films, but I really would love to see them. Especially just knowing the fact that he made 100 of them. I just can't believe it. No, just 100 movies.
Yeah, for me, it's like the working template of how to put out a lot of good movies, in a short space of time because you just know what you want and you tell your story and you don't get bogged down with nonsense. No? But yeah, I
Yeah,
just really respect this dude from a work ethic standpoint, workflow standpoint, and
yeah, me too.
production, just a general production management standpoint.
Yeah, and I'll just say this finally about Takashi as well. And what I love too is that this guy is just so lucky to be in the Japanese film industry, because with these guys, with that industry, they don't hold back at all. America have their rules, they have their ratings and all that. And if they have to go to that NC-17 vibe, they have to have a reason for it. But because they're so not following the Western, approach to things,
Right.
they could be as batshit insane and crazy as they want to. You know what I mean? And what I love about Miike's movies, not all of them are brutal or violent, but some of them are. Let's be real here. There is a sense of energy in it. There always is a sense that, all right, I'm gonna do something different here. I'm gonna wow you. I'm gonna disturb you. I'm gonna shock you, and I'm not gonna let my age get the better of me. So in a way, he's like the Scorsese of the Japanese film industry, where even though he is old and getting older, he still has that kind of youthful energy to his movies now. He's still gonna give you that visceral thrill now, even though he is at the age where it's like, well, maybe I should just kind of tone it down on the graphic violence a bit. But I guess to him, he just don't care. And because he is in the right industry for him, he could get away with it pretty much, you know what I mean?
Right.
So this takes us to Blade of the Immortal, the movie, which is based off of the manga of the same name. A manga that I've seen in bookstores, I think, but just never got around to reading it. I heard it's pretty good, but just never got around to actually checking it out for myself. Um, so the protagonist is called, his name is Manji, and he is a samurai, right? And in this incredibly badass, I'm gonna say incredibly badass a lot, opening sequence where he has to fight like a ton of soldiers, um, and he's like close to death basically, but like they targeted him. He's like this on this most wanted list kind of vibe now. So after defeating these people quite brutally, and he's like tired, he's burnt out, he's about to pass out, or at least I should say close to dying actually. This old Shinto priestess runs into him actually, and she's aware of how um of how ferocious he is as a warrior, right? So basically, she knows that he's on the verge of death. So she gives him basically, he's given something called blood worms, right? These small little worms that pretty much go into like your wounds, and they pretty much like, um, it's like sewing up your wounds basically. But these worms do it from inside your body, right? So these
Yeah.
worms are put inside of him. So basically, the rule is that he is quote unquote immortal, right? He can't die. Um, Whenever he gets cut up or whatever, he has a way that he can regenerate himself through those bloodworms. So cut to 50 years later, and there's this one girl. Her name is Rin Asano. One night, her father is killed quite mercilessly by this group called the Itorio, and they this basically it's a fencing school, basically like this up and coming fencing school that they want to be the top fencing school in Japan, basically. So
Right.
they are the type that willing to like knock out all the competition, basically. But it's a little deeper than that, though. They this little plot involving the government. They want higher power, basically. So they pretty much have their own base of operations, and they could do whatever they want because the government is supporting them now, right? So Rin's father is killed and her mother is kidnapped. So Rin now is looking for a Yojimbo or bodyguard, basically, to accompany her while she sets out to find these guys and kill them. So of course she runs into Manji. He's living in this shack by himself.
Yeah.
He, of course, is dealing with his own personal wounds as well. The sins of his past. People that he loved die, so he just want to be a loner. You know it is. You know that story element, right? Of course, she asks him, to help him out, help her out. Sorry, he's like, no, you know what I mean. But you know what? He kind of dotes on her a little bit. So he's like, you know what? I'll stick around for a bit, and then the story kind of progresses where they run into each of the members of that Itorio group, basically.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say in terms of plot, because pretty much when you think about it, the plot of this movie is rather standard, right? It's pretty much a run of the mill samurai flick. You always have this Yojimbo character who has to help out somebody in this quest for revenge, and in a way, it's his quest for revenge too. That kind of stuff. You've seen this thing before, especially if you're familiar with anime and other samurai films. But
Right.
here, though, what makes it unique, of course, is the character of Manji, where it's a character who literally can't die. And what I love, though, is that I thought this was going to be like this running gimmick where, this man could just take all this abuse and still survive. But there is this one moment where he runs into a particular character who just so happens to have a poison that could counteract those bloodworms.
Okay.
And yeah, that pretty much affects him going on throughout the rest of the movie. So yes, he will get hurt, but he is feeling it even more. And then as he gets closer and closer to finding the leader of the group, it's almost like him kind of, and this is like a team in the film that basically like, okay, well, what is your life about? Is your life about vengeance? And once you actually achieve this, once you actually, seek that vengeance, then what? What else? What else is there worth living for? And that's what the film pretty much you know touches on there, in its own graphic, violent way. Um, and yes, in terms of violence, yes, it's pretty much, this is ridiculously violent. It's not over the top and gory and bloody as Ichi the Killer was. This is a rated R film, so you do have to. I like also too that Miike kind of tones down the violence a lot. So it does not glorify the violence. Well, okay, I should say it does. It's not gratuitous. That's the best way I could describe it. When he is mowing down swordsman after swordsman, it is exciting. It is very exhilarating. But at the same time, when people that you're supposed to care about do die, and you're supposed to feel bad for it, or you're supposed to feel some kind of emotional weight for it, it does not glorify in their death. You do feel how bad it is.
Yeah.
Um, but I just like that there was some constraint and some self control in terms of Mickey's handling of the violent content in this film. Now he doesn't go too much off the reels. Now he kind of takes it down. It's like, all right, trying to tell a story here, not gonna get people sick here. Just want people to have fun with this here. And for the most part, yeah, this movie was damn fun. Jed. I enjoyed it. In terms of drawbacks, though, I would say that this movie runs a little too long for its own good. Because this thing
Right.
is like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and to me, there was no need for this movie to be that long. This should have been like 2 hours and a little bit, not 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Right.
Especially when you think it up, when you realize at the end of the day, this is just a basic story,
Right.
right? A basic samurai story. Um, I had no problem with the story at all. I knew going into this thing that this was not going to be some kind of
Well,
elaborate, complex story.
yeah,
That's
but I
not
would
what you go
expect
into.
when you have a man belting out 100 films,
Exactly. You don't go into a movie like this
all of them
expecting
can be winners.
depth. Yeah, you don't expect depth and clarity. And, well, this
Right.
is about, a critique on the Bushido, which was what Harakiri was about, even though the old film did
Essentially.
that way better. But this one is a hack and slash film. That is
Yeah.
exactly what it is. And yeah, I enjoyed this movie a lot. Just I felt
Right.
that the time really bogged me down a bit. Now it does feel way too long for its own good. The performances I thought were excellent, especially Manji. I thought that he is that grim, badass character. He's a man of few words. He would say what he had to say. He'll have the throwdown talk where it's like stop talking or put your sword down or don't even try it. Yeah, that the bad man talk. Now you gotta have it now.
Right.
The members of the Itorio I thought were great as well. They're not given much depth in terms of characters, but I love that every time he confronts one of them, they always kind of reveal something about them, some particular trait about them. Whether it's the way how they talk or the way how they fight or something about them, something that makes them stand out from the rest. I like that. The villain is what you expect from a villain. The soft-spoken one, the one that looks kind of handsome, and you wouldn't there's something kind of sneaky about him. He's the last person to fight, but when he's ready to throw down, he'll throw down. That kind of character. Now the characters are what you'd expect from a story of this genre, basically, right? So don't go in expecting too much out of it. It is what it is. It is a fun hack and slash movie. A lot of fighting, a lot of blood, a lot of dead bodies and all that kind of stuff, and just badassery from start to finish. So, um, like I said, this movie does not do too much, but I'm not expecting it to. um, but it's just that with the length that this movie runs for, you're kind of thinking that okay, with its length, there could have been more to the story, but because of how basic it is, it really could have just been a lot shorter. Not too short, but not 2 hours and 20 minutes. And
Right.
finally, I'll say that the actress, the young actress who played Rin, I thought that she was great at this, like excellent actually. Um, the scenes that she's given, she has to do a lot. She has to cry, she has to scream, she has to really show that she is feeling all that anger and rage, but at the same time, she doesn't want anything bad to happen to Manji. She does have this kind of brother sister relationship going on with her. I thought
Right.
that when as a young actress, I thought that she was impressive here, really damn impressive. Um, but yeah, nothing more I could say about this at the moment though. I want to put this as my official guilty pleasure movie of 2017. I'm not sure if I could put it in my top 17 as yet. I have to probably give it another view. But
Right.
if it doesn't make it in my top 17, this definitely had to get honorable mention or be in my guilty pleasure somehow. Because this is a movie that I don't want to forget in a long while. Just like 13 Assassins. Um, I would say though that 13 Assassins is the better film because it has a much richer story, much more better developed characters, I would say. But because this is based off of a manga and it's just a basic story, basic hack and slash story, I got my money's worth way more than I expected. So yeah, I would give this a decent 4 to 5 stars. If you love this kind of shit, believe me, you will love this movie. Um, the runtime might hamper your enjoyment of the film. You might feel like it does run for way too long. You might feel a little desensitized after a while. It might feel like what, I'm not feeling these scenes now because they're just running for way too long.
Yeah.
It's just really the time that really brought down this movie. But for what it is, just being this visceral action pack, thrill ride from start to end. Yeah, this really I really got my money's worth here with this one. So like I say, I really want to put this in my guilty pleasure. Right now, it kind of resting for that category basically. But yeah, I highly recommend that you do check it out. It is for the fans of that genre, though. I don't expect people who do like, samurai flicks or hack and slash, stuff to really enjoy. But if you just like badass action movies, then yeah, you are going to have a blast with Blade of the Immortal.
Cool.
All right. And
All right. So
finally, last but not least, Thor, boy.
yeah.
Thor. We
Yeah.
gotta talk about Thor
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
and the road it took to get to where we are right now. Um, so I just start things off by just sharing my thoughts briefly on the first two movies. I would say that because I actually watched them out before watching Ragnarok. I would say that the first one, in terms of our origin story, still holds up. In terms of starting the
Right.
foundation for Thor, I think it holds up. Um, the Shakespearean stuff works for the most part, not as much as all that,
Right.
especially in the handling of Loki. 'Cause I felt that Loki became a better villain with the Avengers. I felt
Yeah.
that that's when he became more cocky and more like real in your face there. This one, he was more whiny and more like, well, I want the throne and all that kind of stuff there. But then
Yeah.
because it's Kenneth Branagh and, he's trying to bring some theatricality into the film,
Yeah.
especially with Hopkins' performance. Yeah, that's why
But
I
yeah,
got that.
yeah, well, he did work with Tom Hiddleston, I think, before.
Right.
Yeah.
The
I
well,
was.
oh, just
I
one
was.
thing, quick. The fish out of water thing, even though it took up a whole hour of the movie, I counted it. Doesn't like it doesn't work. It's not as perfect as all that. Like I get what Marvel's trying to do at the time. I felt that there could have been there was some pacing issues basically there, especially with Thor becoming Thor once again.
Right.
But we did have some funny moments, even though the whole relationship thing between him and Natalie Portman. Don't mind, I really love Natalie Portman, but still, it doesn't really
Should
hold up
work in
as
this.
much as this doesn't work. But yeah, in terms of our origin story, it still holds up. It's just pacing could have been way better. The whole fish out of water thing doesn't quite work as well as it should have been. Sorry, but in terms of introducing Thor to the Marvel universe, it was decent. But what were your
Right.
thoughts on the
Yeah.
first movie?
Yeah. At the time, I remember not liking it all that much, mostly because they just deviate from the central thought thing. I find they should have taken the direction with and do the Donald Blake cripple thing. I had a problem with that. So
Yeah, and even referencing Donald Blake and saying,
they made
"Oh
a
well,
joke.
yeah," it's like that was my ex-boyfriend. I
Right.
was like,
It was kind of
come on, really?
right, and I really wanted them to do the whole him getting crippled, needing to need a cane and all of that stuff, and
Right.
then I didn't really care for the thing, but they linked it to thing quite well. I thought.
Yeah, it was a nice bridge between Iron Man 2 and
Right,
and
they
the
did right,
Avengers. So
right.
I'll
They
give
did
them
the
that.
Shield thing. So they had a little thing with Shield. They had Hawkeye get a little cameo. That was cool.
Yeah, I kind of blink and you miss it moment with him
Right.
actually. Of course they brought in Coulson from
Yeah.
who you know from Agents of Shield now, the TV series. Yeah.
Right, but he was cool. So just then he was really introduced particularly. But the thing is, again, like much of you say, Captain America worked by they just give him a full arc of becoming the weak guy and then strong guy. Image-wise, that worked. That's why for me, Cap TFA worked so well.
Yes.
This one didn't work so much, simply because image-wise, it was a problem.
Yeah.
He supposedly lose all his powers, yet he's still a big hunky beefcake and still arrogant and still a douche. At no
Yeah.
point I really got the sense that he got humbled. Right, and I suppose again, it's
well.
film is a visual medium.
In the film's defense, there was that moment where that robot thing started invading town, and he was telling his friends, Sif and the Warriors Tree, I think that's what you call them. Go back to Asgard. I'll handle this, and he didn't even have
Right.
his powers. So that moment was like,
still-
all right, okay, I get.
Yeah, but again, so we still film is a visual medium, and I needed to see him.
Understood? Yeah.
Who could I get your ass kicked now?
Yeah. You're right.
And I had a problem with that.
Right.
And that was about it. I don't really. I mean, I was largely nonplussed about the film. I didn't hate it as much as Iron Man 2, but I was kind of really. It was really forgettable for me. I was just like, all right, well, on to the next film.
Yeah.
Kind of attitude about that. I didn't hate it. It was all right. Kenneth Branagh, I think as a lot of the special effects on Asgard didn't really look all that hot for me.
Yeah, that is true. There are some effects that don't quite hold up. Or
Right.
maybe that's the term I should use, but they don't quite render the way they don't look convincing
Yeah,
to me.
they look off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just was.
Not so much with the look of Asgard, but I felt like with the frost giants themselves, especially that dog creature, which, believe it or not, actually looked way better in the Dark World than it did in the other film. Like I was so
Right.
surprised. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't do a good job with it. A lot of that, in my opinion, I was just underwhelmed with it. It just, I don't know, Kenneth Branagh just seemed unfit with the material. You think on paper he was good with the material, but he just didn't gel together the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
So it had its moments, and it was, and then again, it teased a lot of stuff for the future. But as a film, I was kind of underwhelmed with it. It didn't really work because again, Thor didn't really have that good of an arc,
Right.
at least visually.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Now, one thing I just want to say before we jump into the Dark World, what was quite interesting to me about Thor was the review that the late great Roger Ebert put out for this. He actually gave this movie 1 star, and this was
Right.
around the time when people were hyping the hell out of this movie.
This is what, the
4
first Thor,
stars,
the second
the first Thor,
Right,
giving
right,
it
right,
4 stars and all that kind of stuff. In my review, because I actually did a blog post on this, I think I gave this either 3 or 3.5. I can't remember actually.
Yeah.
Or I think I gave it a 4, so I'm not too sure. But yeah. Roger Ebert gave it a 1 star. Reason being is because he felt that the character of Thor just wasn't appealing, was uninteresting to him. It's
And
just
that's what I
a
say,
beefy
because the
guy.
thing is-
It's just a beefy guy, with a
Yeah.
hammer. Like, who cares?
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's what I was saying. Like with Cap TFA, you really got the sense of, oh right, this character is a hero, and then he becomes super strong, blah blah blah. And they could have done that with Thor. The technology was there. Why couldn't they do it with Thor? Why didn't? And that's the thing. The movie just didn't have the working for Thor to just do that. They could have done the Donald Blake thing. Again, he lose all his powers, and yet he's still when he did another joke on Earth. He's like, yeah, he's still funny and still lighthearted, and it's like, yeah, that just didn't work at all.
Yeah.
You really should have get a good sense of him really be losing everything, and you didn't get that at all.
Right.
So, visually, even when he couldn't pick up the hammer, that was supposed to be the supposed low point. Still, you really get that.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And because Hemsworth's not that good of an actor, I'm gonna admit it. I don't think I've liked him in anything but the Thor films.
What about Rush?
Or the Avengers.
He was great in Rush, too.
Rush.
Rush,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay, I forgot about that. I just forgot about that.
Yeah.
But even that is still more, the other guy. It was the Steeler show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but right. Well, Rush. I forgot about Rush. Rush was pretty good.
Mm.
Yeah. Overall, I just don't really like him as an actor. So he didn't really fit himself so well, though.
Okay. He does have the looks, though. I mean, let's be honest.
I know, yeah, he totally
Of course,
looks
you have that
like
running joke where he has to be shirtless because that's in the contract. For
Right.
all the women to go woo and all that kind of shit. But anyway,
Yeah. And we go see what this new film. We'll talk about Thor too now.
we'll talk about right. So Thor: The Dark World. Now, funny thing about this, right? Now I know this is the weakest of the not just the Thor trilogy, but for the most part, the Marvel movies. Now, here's the
most
thing.
people put this as the lowest on the MCU. I do agree with that.
Now here's the thing. I don't hate this movie as all that. Now sure,
Right.
now sure, you have a very unappealing villain. We could have gotten more of Christopher Eccleston as that
that villains.
elf guy thing, the dark elf thing. Yeah, you could
Yeah,
have gotten
right.
way more to that. Right, again, the whole the involvement of Natalie Portman into the story, I think works a lot more than in the first film where she was just kind of thrown into it. The whole thing with them going in and out of Asgard and into the Dark World and then to London, I thought these for some great moments. But to me, just in a nutshell, I would say this is like one of my guilty pleasures. It's not a perfect movie by a long shot, but it's one of those movies you just kind of shut your brain off and be like, yeah, flashy visuals. Because I would say it, this movie have better visuals than the original film, and it has more action, and the pacing is a lot more tight. This is more like a non-stop action ride, which they pretty much replicated in Thor Ragnarok here. But yes, I know story wise and not all that, but still, it's just dumb popcorn fun in my opinion.
Right. For me, a lot of people consider this the worst of the MCU. I don't agree with that entirely. I actually still consider Iron Man 2 the worst of the MCU.
It is. And I forgot to mention too, they also have some nice moments with Thor and Loki that pretty much set the basis for future
this
films.
One, so the second film I don't really hate. It's a movie. They totally waste Eccleston in this. They totally waste I forget the actor's name, but he plays Mr. Echo from Lost. And they waste 2 great actors. They could have them do so much better with the material. They just had them in makeup the entire time. They just kind of waste a good actor under set of makeup, and
even
they didn't
Killer Croc and all too. They kind of
right.
He just turned into this big beefy evil guy, and that was it, really.
That was it, right. And then they had some funny moments with again Thor and Loki, as I mentioned. There's a really great cameo by Chris Evans.
yes, love that.
Yeah.
And even make great use of Rene Russo. I felt like in the first movie, she was pretty good as doing nothing. Yeah, she got to kick a lass. I mean, no mind, she got killed, but
they had the right.
And I'll say that. I'll say one thing though before I forget. The moment right when she gets killed and Thor rushes in to save her, and he's just smashing shit and throwing the hammer, trying to kill the Dark Elf guy, was a great moment in my opinion. I love that scene. Yeah.
But as I say, as a film, it took itself way too seriously. It did a lot of it just didn't work.
It was trying to balance that humor.
Didn't make any sense.
One of the big problems
with it one of the bigger problems with it as well is like, all right, they got rid of the ether. If I remember correctly, did this film lead straight into the Guardians? What was the post credits to this?
The post credits, yes, the post credits was leading up to Guardians, yeah.
Right,
You saw the Collector and
right. But this one, one of the big problems I had was, well, where exactly did the reality gen come from to do all of this shit? Like they could have addressed that now. It just appear, and then it gone inside the ship. And it's like, wait, what? It was there on Earth all the time. What?
Right, and
like,
why it chose her of all people? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff now.
Yeah, little things like that.
Yeah.
So whatever. I don't remember hating this film, but yeah, it's easily one of the weaker MCU films. Not the weakest, but one of the weaker ones.
Exactly.
And it just kind of came and went for me. It just generally squandered potential, even though I'll argue it didn't really have that much potential anyway.
That's the thing though, because you can look at these movies and say, yeah, they're fun, they're not really all that, but you enjoy them, and that's me and the Dark World. Like it's not
I think
best
if
show
anything,
out there, but I still have fun watching it.
Right, if anything, they probably should have kept on Kenneth Branagh to like fix all the problems that with the first film now. Instead of switching the director. They shouldn't have switched director in my opinion.
Okay.
But
Right, so Alan Taylor did a decent job for what he's given here. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, for the most part, but again, because it's Branagh with the whole big you get Branagh to really do a good job with the material now. Because again, Kenneth Branagh is a great director, so
yeah.
To see him do this and to kind of squander the material in that way, because again, on paper, that he's the person you would want to do Thor for now.
Yes.
Because he's like the perfect paper choice for it, but it just didn't gel out well at all. And I would have given him a second chance to really get it done right, and you'd really get that. But
yeah. And I'll just say this finally though. I love how it ends where they set up this thing, which pretty much Thor Ragnarok kind of resumes from. Where Loki is, taking the form of Odin, so he's pretty much ruling the throne now, So let's jump into Thor Ragnarok. You just want to jump into what the story is about?
Yeah. So basically, Thor is from the events of Age of Ultron. Thor goes looking to solve basically to answer a question. Well, one, what's up with these Infinity Stones thing?
Yes.
And then two, he gets wind of, and he explains this like within the first 5 minutes. He explains, well, the Infinity Gem stuff don't really go anywhere, so he decided to answer a certain question involving Ragnarok.
Yes.
So the first thing he does is to go after Firelord Sutter. And Firelord Sutter is supposed to, according to the legend, supposed to start Ragnarok, which that is actual real Norse mythology.
Okay. I had a mindset actually.
Right. And then so he deals with that. Then he comes back to Asgard, and then he realizes, oh shit, my brother in charge of Asgard, it's my brother, not
our father.
Not the Reloaded, right? And he's basically, well, it has a nice, great comedy bit opening with that.
Yes. With a particular actor.
With multiple great actors, actually.
Yes.
One
of which is actually friends to somebody who we'll be seeing in Justice League. That's all.
Right.
Moving along.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good little funny bit. It works, and then they start basically to look for Odin, and they look for Odin, and then Odin tells them, "Look, I'm passing on." It's unclear why exactly he had to pass on, but as usual, old guy, old soul, old powers.
I kind of run the course of my life, so
right,
I'm
right. Because he could have come back. He could have come back to Earth if he wanted, but he didn't. Sorry, he could have come back to Asgard if he wanted, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of showing that time passing, and then he explains, well. Big problems. Oh, by the way, there's another cameo, a great cameo by
We won't spoil it. We won't spoil it. You have to see it yourself.
It was kind of sold out in the trailers and at the end of his film.
Yeah, that's the only
right, whatever. But he had a nice little cool sequence too. That's a nice little quick cool sequence. That was funny and well.
Really hilarious as well. Yeah.
Right, and then he basically says, "Look, well, when I die, somebody's coming back that you'll have to contend with, because basically it's her." "Quote unquote," her imprisonment is bounded on my life, and a lot of those spells and powers, like, it's about that now. It's well, I have to be alive for this to work, kind of shit now.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened. And then introducing a character called Hela, who is basically
played by my favorite actress working in the business today, Kate Blanchett. Yo.
Right, and that's basically where the story starts, where she basically just comes through by force. She just, look, I'm gonna take everything over, and then the big sell of the movie, this is where the real strength of the movie works. It does have very good, nice little subtext and not necessarily subtext, but just kind of overtext, actually, overtones of kind of post-colonial materialism. this idea of, well, the powers that be, as a thing, try to hide their own story, and I want to just use the power directly. And she
Right.
break apart the storytelling of Odin and Odin's timeline and says, no, this is the real story. And she tells the real history of Asgard and how Asgard was didn't have the nicest history. And yeah, again, a lot of it has to do with post-colonialism and colonialism. And there's a lot of great subtext and overtones and undertones about that.
Right.
And that's where the movie starts. Thor gets his ass kicked. He gets sent to basically the furthest possible reaches to the universe. Well, we know why, because they get to see they get kicked out of the Bifrost.
Yes.
Sorry, not the Bifrost. So I forget the teleportation thing they use that this guy is used to move people about.
Well, technically it does involve the Bifrost, so yeah.
Right, but he's the sword of this guy now. Shit,
Oh, right.
what's his name?
I forgot the guy. Well,
Idris Elba's character.
Yeah, well, Idris Elba's character.
Heimdall.
Yeah.
Right, so Heimdall now, well, it's not Heimdall. I forget who Carl Urban's character was. I really forget who Carl Urban's character was.
Scourge, I think that's his name. Yes.
Scourge, okay. Right, anyway, he's the one who brought back.
Scourge, sorry, yes. Carl Urban, yes, folks, is in this movie. Dredd himself is in this movie, and he plays Scourge.
Yeah, it's a nice
like
role. Although I very care for his arc.
He's like the replacement to Idris Elba's character because
right.
he was exiled for reasons that
Loki was engaged in shenanigans.
Yeah.
And right, it's because of Loki shenanigans. And then, so basically what they did is they did a great twist on the comics about what starts Ragnarok now.
Yeah.
Because technically in the comics, Loki's supposed to start Ragnarok, but they do both arcs, both the new arc, and then the old classical comic book arc of Ragnarok in the comics now. And yeah, that's basically where the story starts. Hela just takes over Ragnarok by force because she is ridiculously strong. She's if not stronger than Odin, and she just kicks a lot of ass in this. And then she's stronger than Thor. Thor loses his hammer. He gets sent to the furthest reaches of the 9 realms, which is all the trash dumps.
Yes.
And that's where the story starts. Essentially, he goes and he meets another Avenger.
Well, we know it's in the trailer, so we can spoil it.
It's in the trailer.
He runs into his old buddy Hulk.
Right.
Yeah,
and
who we haven't
that's
seen
what
since Age of Ultron, right? So.
Yeah, he meets back with Loki as well, and then the story starts off them have to fight back Asgard. And they get into the general message of the story, where Asgard is not a place, it's a people, which is a great line.
Yeah, I actually like that.
Right. And that's it. That's what the story
cheesy,
starts.
but I like it.
Yeah, and overall, this story really, really works for me. It is the best of the Thor films.
Yeah, that's seen a lot too. Huh?
A lot of it works. It's very, very funny. One of the funnier films of the MCU. I'll say probably didn't make me laugh as much as Iron Man 3 did.
Okay, I am actually vice versa with that. This actually made me laugh more than Iron Man 3.
Right. But this one was pretty funny, really, really well done. Action was great. Humor was great. And then the central theme of the story really, really works, especially coming from somebody like Taika Waititi. Because as I mentioned earlier, a lot of it is to do with colonialism and power and slavery. And they have a lot of great little nice lines peppered into there. There's a lot of great dialogue moments peppered in with that. You see it a lot. And then when they introduce another character, this is what's the name, boy? Hunter 142 or something like that, or Scavenger 142 or something like that. But you learn who she really is, and they do she has an excellent arc in this. This is played by Tessa Thompson.
Right. Oh, you mean Scrapper 142?
Scrapper 142.
Yeah. She actually, well, we could spoil it because in the trailer anyway. She is one of the Valkyries. She's actually the last Valkyrie. This race of warrior women who were defeated by Hela. Years ago.
Right. And they make a lot of it work. And then they just get into the idea of, well, what Ragnarok means, what it means to be in charge of a system that's classically you have to go through nasty things to get to that power, but then have to be a beacon of hope for the most part. So again, colonialism, neo-colonialism, there's a lot of subtext there. You could say, well, England or America or a lot of the West, for the most part. Yes, the West sucks and has a really nasty history, but the West is kind of the best working paradigm for how people would want to live in the world today, because we don't really have anything else. But you could turn around and say, well, it's because of the sins of the West that things make it so bad for other countries and other civilizations to never really flourish or come up in the first place. And that moral back and forth, you can keep playing. You can keep playing that moral tennis indefinitely. But it works. It works in this story. It works with Valkyrie's character because she becomes very, very disheveled and kind of out of the system in that sense. Like, okay, she feels bad about Odin dying, but at the same time, well, it's because of Odin, and he bullshit is because I get here in the first place and I lose everything. And they have a lot of great subtext in it. And again, it's done in the context of a Marvel film by Disney.
Yeah.
It's impressive. Taika Waititi does a great job of balancing everything. He had a lot of plates to spin with this. In respect to linking it to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, having it follow through to, well, we know Infinity War coming next year, so that to follow with that, and then tell his own solid story on his own. And he does almost all of it, I think, for the most part. It's not the most brilliant MCU film in my opinion. It's not even close to the best. I won't even put it top 5, frankly, but it's still really good.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very interesting review of it. I like how you went in depth and talked about the themes that like I would just watch this and I wouldn't even think about post-colonialism and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So
No,
that's
why I
a very
see it.
great observation. First
That's
and
why I see it,
foremost.
because the mere fact she went out of the way to tell the quote-unquote real history of Asgard is like, okay, why is that a thing now? And that's what I get from it. She was like, oh, this is what it really is, and this is what I'm really going to do. And that's what they made Hela such a frightening villain now. They make it work in that sense now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, for me though, I was more looking at it from just the question that this movie fortunately answers. How do we breathe new life into the character of Thor? Because just Thor in general, which is weird though, is probably one of the I would say one of the least favorite Avengers. But in terms of his movies,
Yeah.
it's not the best in the lot, right?
Yeah.
The first one tried to be all Shakespearean. Next one tried to take itself a little too seriously at times, though. When it was just trying to be dumb fun, just
Yeah.
that total imbalance. But this one here, though, how I pictured it though was basically its relevance in the Marvel universe as a whole, in general.
Right. Right.
Without the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so on the one hand, you can think of it like, okay, well, this is the one film that if we don't get right, people are not gonna care about this Infinity War shit that we've been planning for years, right? So we have to get this one right. We have to figure out how to make this thing work.
Yeah.
So for one thing that I picked up, just well, from the trailer alone, though, and then seeing it for myself, was this creative decision to go kind of 80s with this one, Just
Right.
the
Right.
80s,
Right. Right.
this movie drips with just
That's
80s
right.
vibe, though, but not on
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
nostalgic, not on a lazy nostalgia vibe, but more like we are inspired by these things, so we're gonna do our crazy warped version of a superhero movie, but like from the 80s. Like,
Right.
if this movie did not do well in the box office, and I know it will, but I'm just saying if it didn't,
Yeah.
this would have been a bona fide cult classic
Right.
right off the bat. And this really go like harkened back to like the glory days of the 80s there, when everything was just so wild and over the top. In terms of movies there, it could be creative, it could be crazy, it could be, but be fun with it too. You know what I mean? I got that from the visuals, the really flashy, colorful visuals here that reminded me a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy, although
Right.
not as glossy and gorgeous looking. I mean, there are some
Right.
gorgeous visuals here, but not as gorgeous as Guardians do. And I'll get into the reason why in a bit. Really, well, when you think about the music choices that they use for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in particular, these 60s and 70s songs, when you think about it, it's all about, peace and love, man, and all about happiness and all that kind of stuff there. Like the hippie movement basically before the Manson murders took place, and then the reality kind of came in, but it still had people who was just trying to hold on to that, peace and joy kind of vibe there. So you kind of saw that in the visuals, why they were just really so flashy and so colorful there. I'm just talking about it from a visual aesthetic basically, right?
Yeah.
So here with the 80s, you have a character. So basically, just in general, you have a character of Thor. It's a big, muscular dude with a hammer who is full of himself. He loves himself. He thinks he's his shit, even though people kind of call him out on it. What particular era he'd fit best in? Not the 80s, right? Where
Right.
it was just all about machismo and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like how the movie kind of subverts that as well.
Right.
Then.
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
not just. So for one thing, you take away his powers, boom, that's it. then you have somebody else stronger who can kick your ass. Then you have the character of Valkyrie, who I thought that Tessa Thompson played quite excellently, calling
Yeah.
you out on that shit there. And then also just keeping with the 80s aesthetic. Like, I don't know about you, but I couldn't help but think about Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. The
Right. A little bit.
second
Yeah.
that I reach on that sort of
Yeah.
prison
Pretty
planet
much. Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Right.
The Grandmaster played quite brilliantly by
Hilarious.
yes by Jeff Goldblum.
The post credits, the second post credits with him was hilarious.
I
love
know,
that
right?
they did
Yes,
that.
I was like, wait, they're gonna do
That
anything
cracked
with
me up,
him?
John.
And then when I see it, I was like, yes, I love this. This would.
That second
I'm
post credits was
satisfied with
hilarious.
that
Yeah.
works, right? Yeah. He is pretty much like the Tina Turner character from Thunderdome, in my
A
opinion.
little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Even the whole the sequence, the battles, the gladiatorial sequence between Thor and Hulk, though, I thought,
Yeah.
that was
I got
like
all of that.
yeah, that was like Thunderdome there. Now, the subject of that fight scene, though, I thought it was well handled. Hulk was just such a badass here, though. I like how they really showed how powerful he was, though. And you got to see him square off against Thor again, and which I always wanted to see. I felt the way how it ended was a little anticlimactic. I kind of got it. But once again,
Right.
it's kind of hinted at, just slight spoiler, who is the stronger of the two? Is
Right.
it Thor? Is it Hulk? So it kind of leaves the question out for you to decide, for the nerds to kind of figure out,
Right.
and the Marvel junkies or whatever. But yeah, dude, in terms of just the visuals, just the style of how this film was done, really reminded me of an 80s movie, though. Right down to the kind of analog music that they use in the film score. I thought that was great as well, though. I was like, yes, this is like the 80s once again, though. And I think that this decision, the total decision to do it like that, actually works a lot better in terms of a movie starring Thor, you know what I mean, with him in the forefront. Because that's it.
But they had a nice. Oh, speaking of there's a nice. I don't. This is a lot more pressure than I think it is. They did Immigrant Song, which is interesting.
Yes.
And
which is
Immigrant
great
Song,
too. Yes, good point on the Immigrant Song.
Yeah.
It's not just a catchy ass song, which it is. All right.
Yeah, and that's the thing with it. It's not only is it Immigrant Song, it's also a classic Norse, used for Norse mythology kind of song.
Yes,
And-
exactly.
and
When
then-
you,
and then
when
on
you
top
take
of that,
it in
it's
lyrics, it sounds.
And then on top of that, it's immigrant in terms of the post-colonial subtext. So it is like the perfect song used for
you're right. Exactly. And
Yeah.
also too.
the nature of the film. Yeah.
The two times that they use in this movie is where Thor throws down, and those are like some of the best moments in this entire movie, hands down. When
Right.
Thor throws down and he's kicking ass, it is like
Yeah.
some of the best shit you will see in a Marvel movie in a long while, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, the 80s aesthetic I felt worked perfectly in terms of just creating this world for Thor to be in. So, you could get past the kind of cheesiness, intentional cheesiness, the campy humor as well.
Yeah.
I like the campiness of it. It does
Right.
feel like, like I say, it has a kind of cult classic feel to it.
Right.
Whether it's the characters and how weird they are. Especially Jeff
Right.
Goldblum, though. He is weird for the sake of being weird, but in a 80s
Right.
cult movie kind of weird.
Right.
The-
So a couple things I didn't like that they did in the movie.
Sure, yeah.
What I would prefer to keep out of, prefer them getting back Mjolnir in some way, shape, or form.
Me too.
I know he got back the powers, but I would like him to have the ability to form the hammer back.
Yeah,
Because
because
here's
it's
the
his
thing.
signature weapon, right? So why
That's
not
the
have
thing,
it?
and I know they might bring the axe later down for Infinity War. Not sure, but to me him with the hammer is like is what is worked now. Another thing is that they got rid of the Warriors tree and what happened to Sif in this?
Yes, Sif was nowhere to be found with this.
Yeah, and I was
then
like,
the Warriors tree were just
they just killed them off so quick.
just eliminated so quickly. It's just
Right,
like,
and I thought
what?
what I would have done if I don't mind you killing those characters off. But what I would have done is have them give them a bigger fight so they'd have a epic fight with Hela, not like just getting stabbed out and robbed out too quick.
Yeah,
they robbed them out-
like I know you want to show Hela to be this incredible badass.
Right, but
and
she
warlord,
could
but
just
still, that's so
no,
fast,
she
man.
could she could take all three of them on at once and beat them reasonably fast, but like take all of them on at once and it's like a solid fight, no. So have it be a solid, I don't know, half minute fight.
Yeah,
Go on now.
totally agree. Yeah.
So you give them something now, but they just die off quick. Like two of them get stabbed quick, and then the last one was fighting with the soldiers, and he just gets stabbed quick. I'm like, all right, well,
yeah.
lame.
No,
Man,
I
Fear
I
Walk-
totally agree with you there.
And then what happened to her? She just was like, I think I forget the actress name, Jamie something.
Jamie. Oh gosh, I forget her name.
Right.
I think she was probably working on another film, but I don't
Right.
know
I think she
if
was on another project from what I
yeah,
understand.
something
So
like that. But it's a shame though that she wasn't
they
there.
should have do something, man, because they had to bring her back for a future movie then.
Or
Um,
something. I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
that's what they try to
that's to
get at.
justify
I don't
this
know.
and explain where the hell she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was missing because the thing is, I thought she was like real entrenched with the MCU because she does make if I remember correct, she was in an episode of Agents of Shield.
She was. She was. I think
Right.
it's in the first season. I think it was.
Right. So the mere fact that she make that effort, I was like, oh well, she real loyal then. Well,
Yeah,
would.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then to not show up in a Thor movie entirely, I'm like, all right, wow.
Yeah, and not explain why is kind of weird to me, kind of
Yeah,
off-putting.
because I don't think they even make mention of her.
They
That's
don't.
another
They
thing
don't at all.
that's another thing too. I thought they would have a little mourning something for all the people who died, and then all of the people who, and then well, the actual Warriors Tree, I think you don't mention them at all.
Yeah.
You like don't even acknowledge that they exist. Like holy shit! So yeah, they could have
Yeah.
stopped. Have a little 2 seconds, just like they could have a little montage or something to show, a little funeral, like when they leave in the ship now.
Yeah.
And all right, well, I remember everybody, and they do a little scene. So they do a little 2 minute scene, a little quick something, just to show you acknowledge all of them, acknowledge the Warriors Tree, acknowledge everybody who died, and then you move on. That's the only thing that was missing from the film, in my opinion.
Right.
So the end of the film had a joke that totally fell flat for me, and I thought they could have cut and replaced with that, which was when they say, "What planet do you want to go on?" And then the character played by Taika Waititi himself,
Yes,
Korg,
yes.
he stopped the film and said, well, this guy died. I was just holding his body, and then the guy wake up like, oh, you're alive, and then it's
Yeah.
done. I was like, yeah, but that was just a flat joke and dotish.
You know?
And I cut that different and make it be about thing now, about the funeral. But whatever,
You're right.
whatever.
Yeah. But you're right though. I do agree with you. But the one performer that I really felt it for the most though was Idris Elba. Like,
Yeah,
in my head, I was asking myself, okay, with all this going on, with all these characters being introduced and reintroduced, is he going to be in it? Because he already had Carl Urban replace him because, for reasons. And he is there, some sort of rebel rallying the people and all that kind of stuff. I was like,
reasonably well,
yeah.
because he never had anything to do in the last couple of films. And
No, he did kind of help out in two, but it was just to get
Right.
characters from A to B. That was it, really.
right, they don't really, but they don't really have him do anything much, I find. And then they do make mention of him in the Vision in Age of Ultron.
Yes, he did, yeah.
So it's like, all right, cool, they're doing something interesting. And then, they explain why it is that he Carl Urban replaces him to make that work.
Yeah.
And that was it. Another thing I didn't like is Carl Urban's arc. That was kind of lame.
Yeah,
because-
like when he's introduced, it's like, yeah, he's a real douchebag, Dread. Especially when he had the two guns. Yeah, he has two
Right.
guns. He's showing off those two women,
Right.
two chicks, whatever. It was like, yeah, whatever. But then eventually, near the end, slight spoiler, he suddenly see the light, and now he wants to fight for good, and he doesn't want to fight alongside Hela
Right.
anymore.
I don't know, I would keep him as a dark character right through and have him fight down to the end, but whatever, it don't matter.
Yeah.
But the arc just was kind of lame and it was kind of too straightforward. I'd probably have him kill the girl. Like, remember he had to chop off somebody's head?
Yes, yes,
I don't
because
actually do it.
because he plays he becomes the executioner to Hela at the end. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'd have him actually do that shit. And I was like, all right, to make the character real dark, and like he really had to go there. If he didn't do it, he'd have dead now.
Right.
Or more people would have dead, or do some them force him to make some real hard choice now.
Yes,
Even
yes,
though
yes.
he's not the nicest guy, he still realized, oh shit, I'm in a deep scenario here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Some of the editing was a little rushed coming down, like especially when they had to cut like one part when Hela and them go on to look for Idris Elba and them character for Heimdall on them, and then Thor start banging the thing, and she just popped back into thing. It's like, wait, she can move so fast? Okay, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Real little stuff like.
But yeah, great points though. But yeah,
Yeah.
as great as the visuals are, as much as the 80s aesthetic work, this movie is not the most flawless thing out there.
Right.
I felt personally that it almost felt like they were just trying to tie up all these narrative threads because they know that Infinity War is next year, so we have to tie up this character with that character. We have to bring back Hulk, and we have to do all these things. I just felt like they just kind of threw everything in this one movie. Matter of fact, this movie in itself feels like it's throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at you. It's like, this is the last hurrah. If this don't work, then you could say fuck off to the Thor trilogy altogether. So we have to make this work. We have to throw in everybody into this film. Well, seemingly everybody there. So there's moments where characters kind of come and go, or characters are introduced. It's like, well, all right, he's in this too, she's in this too, she's in this too. We're doing all these things there. It's just one
Yeah,
thing after the next there. And at times it feels like it's kind of losing focus of the story. But what was kind of strange about this movie here is that you're taking something as serious as a planet basically dying,
right,
being destroyed by this evil presence, and still kind of playing it for laughs though. And
right,
on the one hand, you could say, well, this is kind of like a self-aware thing that Marvel is doing. It's like, yeah, you've seen this formula before already, so we just kind of poking fun at it, but we just doing it with this character of Thor. It's like, ha ha ha, let's make fun of this thing. And for the most part, it works. But I felt like there was some moments, especially near the end, where it's like I'm supposed to feel a kind of emotional weight here, but it's like, eventually they're gonna cancel that out with a joke. So,
right.
does this really work though? How it ends? Does it really work? I end up accepting it at the end though, because it kind of leads to to something else, to something new, and especially
Right.
with that first post credit scene, it's like, oh, okay, this is interesting here. But I felt that just balancing the tools between comedy and seriousness really brought down the movie quite a lot, though, in my opinion.
Right.
It's like it wants to be serious, but when it's being funny while being serious, you're kind of wondering if this is intentional or if it's just they don't know what they're trying to do, if they're just
Right.
trying way too much. I don't know. Uh, but just because of how, just not insane, but just how energetic this movie is. And once again, this really is, like, I was just thinking like 80s movies. It just goes in with the intent of just entertaining the audience. Wowing
Yeah.
them with flashy visuals. One scene in particular with the Valkyries and Hela is like probably one of the best things I've seen in a comic book movie all year. It actually rivals that scene with the Amazons, the flashback story in Wonder Woman. Actually, I really love
Right.
that moment. It does feel very Warner Brothers kind of vibe, that 300 slow mo vibe. But I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that scene. I love the humor. I love the energy. I love the action in this. I love the pace of it. It's
Yeah.
very quick. It's very fast. The humor is always on point.
Yeah.
There's rarely a
Yeah.
moment
Very.
where the
Most of the
humor
jokes.
falls flat.
Yeah. Most of the jokes were from great to okay, but I don't think any of the jokes were like where this is cringeworthy or really bad or stops the film in any negative way. Most of it works.
Yeah.
I mean, most if not all of it works. I think for me
Right.
at least.
Yeah, you're right. And the reason why all this works though is because, yeah, for those who don't know, this is the 17th Marvel movie. So at that point in time, they could stop and be like, all right, okay, we know that y'all don't really like Thor as much. You only like looking at him, whatever, but you don't really
Right.
like the movies. So let me just try to play off the fact that y'all don't like the movies. So we'll just kind of subvert the character. We subvert
Right.
what you expect to see in our movies, and we'll just kind of amp it up now. You just go as far as it can go until we kind of run out of steam.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it just keeps going and going and going. There's little to no moments where I felt the movie kind of stopped. Although I felt personally they could have done a little bit more with Andy Hopkins, Odin character. I felt that they could have wrapped up his arc way better
Yeah.
instead of this kind of, well, my time has passed, so I must go.
Right. Yeah.
And I will
That
show
felt
up
that felt a little
every
rushed.
once in a while to tell you things. I felt that they could have handled his character way better. The inclusions of certain characters I thought were well had. Were I wouldn't say entirely well handled though. That one cameo, I felt they could have done more with that cameo, in my opinion, especially in the context of what's to come here. But adding that character into the movie would have just made a already overstuffed film even more overstuffed, in my opinion. Um, but even with how overstuffed and crazy and wild it is, it never completely goes off the rails. You could tell that they want to have fun with it. It's like this is their last chance, like I say, to get this thing right now. But even if we don't get perfect, we could still have fun with it. And that's what I got out of Thor Ragnarok. Like, it's not
Yeah.
perfect. It is the
Right.
best of the trilogy, so I guess it succeeds in that. And yeah, you can argue it is one of the best movies in the Marvel universe. I would say it's one of the most entertaining though. This is one that I would definitely go back to, not just for the flashy visuals and the 80s aesthetic, but just the fun that I had. Because yeah, you could watch any review of it, and you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that would say, yeah, this movie wasn't fun. The movie was
Right.
fun. That was the point. It was supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but it's just that I felt personally they could have handled the characters a little bit better. The story arcs could have been handled a little bit well, and I felt that the weight of the story there, because once again you're talking about the end of Asgard. Like, not play it off too serious, but not play it off too funny neither, you know? Have a
Right.
proper balance, you know? For the most part, they have it balanced, but every once in a while they kind of slip a bit. Not too much times though, but, you know, for the most part, I thought that they succeeded here. You know, it's wild, it's crazy, it's in your face, but my god, this is a fun movie. So, let
Right.
me jump into ratings one time. So, for me,
Right.
I was wrestling with this a bit. I was wondering if I should give this a 3.5 or a 4. I would give this a very light 4 to 5 stars.
Right.
It's not perfect, but in terms of just popcorn entertainment, yeah, this is a blast. Though this is easily the best Thor movie, and like I say, that's saying a lot considering
Right.
what we got with the last two movies here. Um, it does tie up a lot of narrative threads, especially with the whole thing, the whole question that has been hovering over the universe, the Marvel universe, basically, with where is Hulk? You know, it kind of answers that question here.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So we
Which
kind
I
of got,
find was a little bit of a stretch because it's still unclear to me how he get here, but whatever.
yeah. It does feel like they're really rushing to get to Infinity War, but
Right.
you can't tell me that you would have, you can't, if you have seen it, you can't tell me you didn't have fun watching it, and if that was like the intention of it, just being all fun and flashy, but
Right.
still having that core that, you know, makes these movies, you know, great in the first place, then yeah, it's achieved it. It's not perfect, but yeah, this is one of the better efforts of the Marvel Universe so far. And I'll just say this in closing before I get to your rating. Um, right now, this could be probably one of the best Marvel movies to come out of this year, though. I still
Well,
had to
out of the truth,
decide.
only had three.
Yeah, but
Um,
well,
I
excluding Logan. But at the moment, I really had to decide whether this was better than Guardians 2. This is one that I had to think about
nah.
a lot.
Okay, yeah, I prefer this to Guardians 2, but Spider-Man 2 is still. Sorry, this Spider-Man Homecoming was better than this.
Yeah, I really had to wrestle in, you know, with the fact that is this the best of the Marvel Universe movies? I can't
What?
really say for sure, but this is like what I had to think about. Maybe you have to watch it over. But yeah, this is definitely one that you have to see on big screen. Yeah, you know,
Okay.
you're gonna have a definite, you're gonna have a blast with this one. You're gonna enjoy it in one way or the
Right.
other. So what
Yeah,
is
I don't. I
your rating?
don't. As I say, I don't consider this even in the top 5 of the MCU. But it's up there, and I'll still give it a solid score. For me, it gets a decent low IMAX. You deserve to see it in IMAX.
Oh
It's
yeah,
there.
yeah. Even though I didn't see
Uh,
it in IMAX, I admit I know I suck, but
right.
I wouldn't mind going there to see it again. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's but it's that's the score I give it. It's a low IMAX. It's solid. You go see it. It's well done. But I can't give this top 5 MCU film. I'm pretty sure I know 5 films in the MCU that are better than this for
Yeah.
me at least. But a lot of it works. It's really funny, really well done.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just solid business. And again, a lot of great subtext is there.
Right,
So,
exactly.
uh,
And on the subject of that subtext, I imagine that with more views, that this movie will actually get a lot better. There will be more layers that will be revealed
right,
to me.
yeah,
You know,
that's why a lot
I
of
was
people
just
might
looking at it from
appreciate
just
it.
a experience, you know, just watching it on the big
Right.
screen and having fun.
Because that's the thing with Disney is that Disney does a lot of left wing, not to say left wing, but just political correctness and dealing with stuff in the time. So again, this has a lot of colonialism in it, and with Black Panther coming up with and a sort of stuff about Africa, and it'll be a lot of interesting political stuff there,
Yeah,
subtext stuff there in your big tentpole Disney Marvel film with
right.
comic book people in it, right? It's interesting to see that they're putting that stuff here in this context and making it work. Marvel always had a good precedent for that. I mean, Winter Soldier was all about that shit.
Yeah,
You're
right.
Iron Man 3 even, you know, they did the whole Bin Laden conspiracy theory thing.
Of
which I
course,
thought
yeah,
was-
what you did, yeah.
Right. So, you know, it's all of that little stuff there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I like this movie a lot. I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. And I enjoyed almost all it, from start to finish. I can say I didn't enjoy myself. I was enjoying myself. Laughing, enjoying it, and I had fun.
Right.
This is solid. Great.
Okay.
Yeah.